Alright guys, Aitx stock. Someone was telling me about Kscp, and I just wanted to talk about this because this is very interesting. A lot of people in the Aitx Discord, of course, they believe their stock is so special. It's number one in the world. It's never gonna go anywhere but up, and eventually things will be okay and all that other nonsense. Kscp here. It's on the higher exchange, and guess what? It just keeps doing what Aitx has been doing since 2020, 2021? It just keeps going lower. It just keeps going lower. I mean, sure, it has its pops, much like Aitx. Kscp does have its runs, yes, absolutely. But it ultimately just keeps going lower over the long term. It looks like Muln stock, really. That's what they both look like. If you really think about it, Kscp and Aitx, you know what they have in common? They both just keep going lower. They're basically Muln. Look at Muln. Sheesh, it just doesn't stop bleeding. What do these three have in common? Well, they all just keep going lower. There has been no change in the trend for 4+ years. They keep going lower every single time that it reaches a new support that no longer has enough buyers to withstand the selling pressure. That's really what it comes down to. And then it breaks down lower and lower. And other people see this and they go, "Oh, I'm just gonna get out and take the loss." And then it's a penny stock. It's inevitably going to go to triple zeros, right? And if it reverse splits, boy, oh boy, it doesn't. It's just going to go. It's going to do a Kscp here. This is your future. Kscp is showing you the future here. It's showing you that it's not all, it's not all roses and guns. It's not. It's showing you that this is the future here. If Kscp is struggling, what do you think Aitx is just gonna with that horrible share structure and that horrible those horrible numbers? What, negative 25 million in working capital they have to constantly dilute? When they do uplist, supposedly they're gonna uplist right in 2026, 2027, something like that. Whenever they do, it doesn't matter. They're going to uplist, and it's my prediction. It's gonna hurt a lot of people, and a lot of people who really believed in it are going to start to, they're either going to just accept it, or they're going to finally crack and accept, that it was a bad idea and they would have been better off putting it in something else. For these past 4 years, honestly, I think didn't Nvidia go like 10x? Yeah, it went from like 100 something to 1,400. Then did a forward stock split. So you actually could have made a 10x on Nvidia holding that for 4 years. Think about that. For those of you who put like five grand, you could have turned that into 50 grand already, or more. If you just let that one sink in. Hey, let me gamble 500 on Aitx. If it's either I lose 500 or I make millions. Well, actually, you could have turned that 500 into 5,000. Like you had opportunities elsewhere on safer stock, but for some reason people are just so, I don't know why they gravitate towards trash. This is done. It's toast, man. It's toast. I thought this was the Aitx chart. Well, either way, I think Kscp is toast. It's a good stock to abuse when it pumps. Clearly, it loves to have its pumps just as much as Aitx. But how can you look at this downtrend and tell me and lie to me to my face and tell me that this is good? Like, how can you tell me that this is good? This is not good. Well, it would be great if it started uptrending and it just goes higher, like Palantir stock, where it just goes higher, literally. It just keeps going higher and higher. There's no stopping it. It just keeps creating new highs, new highs, new highs. It just keeps going to 125 from lows of $5. In fact, what's funny is if you had invested in Palantir at $10 or even at $10, it went from 10 to 125, you would have made a 12x in the same time frame that you sat on Aitx. That's what's funny. There are so many opportunities in the markets out there, and for some reason, I don't know why people pick the worst of the worst. Aitx, Kscp. I highly recommend, if you just started buying Aitx around 002s, 003s, I highly recommend you really think about whether you want to hold that position. Because a lot of people, if they're being honest with you, especially people from the Aitx Discord, if they're being honest with you, they will tell you that they've been holding this since 2020, 2021, 2022. They've been averaging down, thinking, oh, it's never going to go lower, right? It's never going to go to 1 penny. It's never going to go to 0.005s or 1/10 of a penny. It's never going to go lower than that, and then it does. And then they're like, oh, well, like, it's just... this is sad for both Aitx and Kscp and Muln stock, because they all, as far as I'm concerned, they're all the same on the charts. I mean, okay, cool, the company, the fundamentals, I get it. They're growing, they're getting robots out there, they're doing better. But does it really mean anything if the share price itself never recovers? That is my question. Does it really mean anything if the share price never recovers? How long are you going to hold? It's been 5 years, 4 years since Aitx, skyrocketed 25 cents on a bear share structure. On top of that, now it has a much worse share structure, and it's a 0019, not at 25 cents or 40 cents or 50 cents. It's headed to triple zeros, and I don't know. I took my loss last week, and I'm grateful. I think that's a sign of maturity for people who haven't taken the loss. I think it's a sign of maturity as a trader to just go, you know what? This seems, par for the course. If it quacks like a duck, if it moves like a duck, sings like a duck, whatever, it's probably a dud in this case. Not a duck, it's a dud. Gambling, why not just take the gamble on Palantir? Why not just take the gamble on Nvidia? I don't understand. There's better stock out there, better opportunities. Why tie up your money where it's just going to get destroyed over and over again? You can ask any Aitx investor, Kscp investor, Muln investor, if they're being honest with you, and if they've been holding since 2021, 2022, and if they're being honest, they tell you, yeah, I don't even look at it. That's what they're going to tell you. They're not going to say it's bad or whatever. They're not going to be that honest and tell you, yeah, I kind of, I was being dumb. Some of them are that honest. They will tell you, yeah, I was kind of being stupid and I just kept averaging down, but, yeah. More than likely, they're just going to say, yeah, and that's it. They're not going to go into it because they don't really want to talk about it because it was a bad investment on their part, and they know it. And I'm telling you, after 4 years of me trading, abusing the bottom on this, and abusing any patterns that it showed, because there was another bottom. This chart doesn't go as far back as, it doesn't go back to 2022. It also formed a bottom temporarily where we abused it. But much like that bottom, it broke down and it went lower. And now here's the bottom. Looks like it's going to do what it's done in the past, where it's just going to break this bottom and go even lower and find another range. I don't know what the CEO of these companies are thinking. I think what they're only thinking about one thing. Let's be real. They're thinking about the company. They're thinking about themselves and their success. Are they really providing shareholder value? Whether it's Muln, Kscp, or Aitx, are they really? Can you really say, oh yeah, shareholder value? Are you really banking on these? If you're long, if you're an investor. That's all I have to say. So I implore you, if you've started buying recently, I implore you to really think about, because some of you bought at 0027, 003s, and I want you to think about it. Like, maybe you don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, I should have sold at 0019 and I would have been, happier for it. I would have kept more money. And now it's at 000671, whatever the case may be. It's going to take a lot of buying pressure now for it to even go anywhere. Also, the bear market isn't helping. Maybe in a bull market things turned around, but they've been saying that we had a bull market for 2 years, and during that bull market, this stock just went sideways. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just there's no uptrend on these. So that's why I walked away from Aitx. Kscp, not interested. Muln, I used to trade Muln, but I walked away from it pretty much for the same reason. It's like there's there's no, I think this isn't a knock on the CEOs. They're just doing what's good for the company. But unfortunately, that's not good for, the constant reverse splits from Muln, the constant dilution from Aitx. I don't know what Kscp is doing to keep trending down. I haven't looked into it because there's no point. The chart already tells me that it just keeps going down. Ultimately, they all just keep going down over the course of years and years. And I guess people are banking that one day it will turn around and go to dollars. And woo, I guess. But that's just, it's been 4 or 5 years now. It's another 4 or 5 are going to go by and you're just going to keep averaging down instead of, you could have taken that money that you've averaged down with and put it into something else that goes 10x. You could just put it into something safe like Palantir or Nvidia and just ride that up for the next 3, 5x or 10x and rinse and repeat. Like it's just funny to me that people choose to invest in this over this. You know what's even better? When you look at the Nvidia monthly chart. I don't know, is the appeal just wanting to get that psychological thrill, that high of I just made a lot of money, oh my God, I want to brag about. Do people just really, want to brag about I made millions fast? Like is that really, are people do people really like that? Is that why they take these gambles on these penny stocks? Because they're so desperate to just brag about turning 100 into 1 million fast, or 1,000 into 1 million or whatever? Because that's kind of sad. But like I said, this just keeps going up on the yearly chart. Red ear, huge pump. Red ear, huge pump. Red ear, huge pump. I don't know, man. There's a pattern here, and it just keeps going up year after year. So why would anyone buy Aitx, Kscp, or Muln stock? I think Muln's probably the worst one of the three because they actually just keep reverse splitting. But the reason I bring Muln stock into this is because we would expect in the future for Aitx to uplist, and if they can't stay on that higher exchange and they just keep coming back under $1 over and over again, and they have to keep reverse splitting to stay on the higher exchange, that's just going to destroy you as an investor. So there's no recovery ever. You just keep getting destroyed. Ask any Muln shareholder, they'll tell you, yeah, they just keep reverse splitting, and it just gives shorts more ammo for it to come down over and over and over and over again, from $5 or $10 back to under $1, rinse and repeat. Muln back to 20 cents over and over again, and you literally are down like 90% or 99%. It's just ridiculous. If there's one thing that I've learned is, if there's one thing I learned these past couple of years is stay away from stocks that just keep doing this. They're trash. Learn from other people's mistakes. If you were lucky enough to buy down here at 002s, 003s, thinking it's a good investment without really doing your proper research, because I was only in it for the flip from the bottom, and clearly I don't think this is going to hold with everything going on. Which is why I took the loss, because I'm like, let's just take the loss here now, and good luck to the 000 people. You got to know when to walk away from the poker table. And Muln stock, the smart ones walked away. Kscp, the smart ones walked away. And Aitx, the smart ones walk away before it comes down even lower. Because this thing has a 0019, it's not going to take much for it to get down to 0009. And then you'll be down 50% real quick. And if you're holding at 002, high 002s, low 003s, you're going to be down like 70, 80, 90%. It can get ugly, and it can get ugly fast. And I'm not just saying that just to say that. Look at Civil stock today. Another penny stock that I kept track of for years. Look at that. 32%. Came down as low as 0011. I haven't taken the loss on this, but I know I will take it. I'm thinking of taking it at the end of the year, but we'll see what happens with this one. But ultimately, I believe I will take that loss when the time comes. But it just comes to show you that I've walked away from Milus. I've already walked away from Aitx. And Civil stock, I will walk away from them in the future. I'm going to give them a shot because they're the better of the three. They don't have an enormous bloated share structure. They don't dilute like crazy. They have a good story behind them. They're in the Department of Defense, right? Drones, everything that they got going on. Apparently 7 significant contracts underway. So nothing has changed. I don't know why it dumped like this. Why even skyrocketed to 006 and then down to 0011. But what I do know is when this one gets volume, it goes. And even when it was in CE, when it had that CE designation, it still managed to pump to 007s, 005s. So this one still has a chance. It has shown us that it can recover. It has shown us that it can come back. Aitx, Kscp, and Muln stock have not shown any of that. And that's it for the video. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I will see you in the next one.